Hello everyone, welcome to 30 Days of Yoga. We are getting toward the end, just a couple more. And today I would like to focus on lower body, so strength and balance, for a couple of reasons. So I've indicated why it's important to have strength as we age. Balance is another indicator of what's going on here. So there was a study done in Japan, and what they found is that people who could balance for less than 20 seconds had some microbleeds going on in the brain. So there's a lot that our body is telling us from balance. Something else that's going on is when our liver is detoxing, for some reason it throws our balance off, right? Think about the alcohol tests that cops do. They see what your balance is. They have to stand on one foot, right? They're testing your balance. Well, it's because your liver is processing those sugars. And over the holidays, in the summer, times when we're overindulging, even if it's sugar, not just alcohol, the liver processes sugar similarly to alcohol. And so that's a real indicator that the body is needing to detox and clear that out. So a couple of things can be happening when you have issues with balance, and that's one thing to pay attention to. So all that being said, we'll start in standing mountain and do our breath work standing today. Rolling the shoulders back and down, lifting up through the heart, pressing the feet into the floor. Feet are under the hips, not under the hips, actually under the hip bones right here. And those arms are at our sides. The top of our head is lifting up, and those bottom ribs are pulling into the body. Spreading our toes nice and wide. Simply observing our foundation or our base. And just notice how much of the foot is touching the floor. And notice what parts of the foot are lifted and not touching. Now see if you can lift up into the arches of the feet. And see if your weight can float above the arches rather than resting in the heels or in the balls of the foot. Now start to notice the rib cage expand and pull back in with the breath. And let's simply connect with our breath. The legs stay exactly as they are. We're only moving the arms, and as we inhale, we bring those arms up our sides, coming to prayer hands at the top overhead. And as we exhale, we use those triceps and bring those hands down through the heart, ending right at heart center. Inhaling as we sweep the arms up, finishing our breath, and as we exhale, we start to bring those hands down through the center of our body, finding heart center. Let's move into flowing chair. So the eyes can gently blink open. Inhaling as we bring those arms up. Exhaling as we sweep those arms around at our sides and sit back in our chair. Knees tracking the toes, and our whole foot stays connected in that chair. Inhaling to sweep, pressing into those feet. Pressing into those feet when we're ready to rise. And we're just letting a little fire, a little energy, a little zest come into those legs. Now from here, we'll just keep that upper body going in those arms, keep that same energy inhaling up. But as we exhale, we'll do an airplane coming down. The arms extend back. So we're connecting with the upper back. Inhaling as we come up. So that belly is pulled into the body. We're only coming to halfway. And if that's too much, we can lift up. We can also soften those knees. Inhaling up. Exhaling as we hinge from the hips. Reaching through those fingertips to come back. One last time. Beautiful. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling, bringing those hands to our sides. Let's take those feet out and turn them toward the corners of our mats. So moving into moonflower. So expanding those arms like a star. Exhaling as we lower down, knees right over those toes. Everything's turned out. And pressing into those feet to rise, hands come back out. So our arms squeeze into our sides. And we really want to think about pulling everything in toward our spine and then releasing and expanding as much as we can. Now, if you're not at my pace, don't worry about it. It's not about connecting to my pace. It's about connecting to your own body's rhythm. So really notice your inhale and your exhale. We're all different. Let's move into sunflower. So inhaling up, exhaling the same legs, but we brush the floor. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling as we brush the floor. And I don't know about you, but I'm really starting to feel some heat in my body. I'm getting warm. Beautiful. Now this time, let's stay down, but we're in a sumo squat. So you can just press those elbows kind of to the inner thighs, or if you need to step in a little farther, you can and come into a full Asian squat. You choose. But lots of energy in those legs. And we're kind of pressing those elbows and knees in toward our inner thighs, actually not the knees, but the inner thighs toward one another kind of equally. One more big breath. Exhaling, gently release. Shake out the legs, shake out the feet. We did a lot of work there. Beautiful. So let's move into our warriors. I'll come with you. I will face you for warrior one. So I'm just going to step, and yes, my head gets cut off here until I step back. So our back foot kind of comes at an angle, and our hips are pointing straight toward me, sinking into that front knee until it's right on top of the ankle, and lifting the heart toward the thumbs. So we're anchoring into this front big toe, back heel. If anything on that back leg grips, just move your foot around until it doesn't. You don't want the knee or the ankle to grip, or the hip. And if they do, change it up so that they don't. If you'd like to bring those arms up overhead, that's another option. So let me come with you for a moment. Let me turn to the side. Moving into warrior two. So the back foot opens, and I actually slide back a little more so I'm deeper. Now my feet are almost like they're on a balance beam. I'm still sinking my knee until it's right on top of my heel. My body is straight up and down, not tilted, and my arms come straight out. Lots of energy in the legs. Moving to an extended angle. So I'm resting my arm on the inner thigh. We don't want to come up here because I don't want to lean on the shoulder. I want to keep that open. So it's all core work here. This arm can extend straight up. So see this beautiful line from my fingers all the way down to my heel? You can have that, or you can place it at your hip or behind your back if it bothers your shoulder to be upright. So it's kind of back by my ear. Some people bring it back too far. Just kind of rest it by your ear. See if you can go just a little deeper. Big breath in, exhale as we come on up. Beautiful, let's try it on the other side. So we've got our warrior one, stepping back with the other foot. Hands at heart center, lifting up. Heart to thumbs. Full expression if you'd like, sinking a little deeper into that front knee. So grounding into the front big toes and the back heel. The hips are square to the front, so we're not angling. Let me turn sideways so we can prepare for warrior two. Probably have a hard time balancing here. Big breath in, exhale as we turn to warrior two. So we can sink a little deeper here if you'd like. Notice this front knee, don't let it flop in. Keep it right on top of the heel. And if that means that your hips have to angle a little bit, that's okay. This is more important than the hips facing the front. Sinking into the pose, gazing down the fingertips or straight ahead, whichever you prefer. And on the exhale, resting that arm on the inner thigh, extending up for our extended angle. Sending the heart forward. One more breath in. On that exhale, returning back up for warrior two. Excellent, shaking out those legs. Good work. Whew. And let's go ahead and do a little balance while we're here, and then we'll take it to the floor, but we're not going to sit quite yet. So, just like we did before, where we were kind of going back, I'd like us to hinge from the hip, but this time our arms are forward. So this is going to be a warrior three. So it doesn't matter which leg you start on. Anchor this leg down, fingertips are open. And when you're ready, start to hinge from the hips, bending forward to find your balance point. You might be parallel to the ground, you might not. It doesn't matter. If you fall out, just simply ease yourself back into the pose. And when you're ready, gently ease out of it. Now let's try it on the other side, the same thing. So we're finding our warrior three. Toe is back, arms extended up, and we hinge from the hips, finding our balance point. And if you fall out, just ease yourself back in. Easing out of the pose when you're ready. I found when I was trying to go a little bit farther, that's when I was falling out. It's okay, it's a good test. All right, so this time let's take our feet forward. So we'll find our balance point that way. Hands just at the hips, doesn't matter which foot you start with. But go ahead and take one foot forward. It might just be your knee. If you can extend the foot, that's fine. If you can hold that foot up high, that's fine too. Find your balance point, press down into your balancing leg, lift up through the top of the head. Breathe. And let's go ahead and ease out of it. Switching sides. Take your time to get into the pose, whichever variation works for you. And gently ease on out. So this time, there's no real traditional pose. What I would like you to do is just start to find balance. Lift one foot, and then start to make all kinds of shapes with your body. Doesn't matter what you do, try maybe bending, try doing some different things, but slowly, Just see what shapes you can make and how long you can stay there. Or how long you can keep moving through space, actually. Balancing is what I meant by staying there. And then let's go ahead and switch sides and do the same thing. So it doesn't matter how, just start to move your body, move that leg around you, creating different shapes. Arms go all over. But notice the core having to work as you do this. And we'll gently ease out. Excellent. Go ahead, shake out those legs. Awesome job. I don't think we held any of those for 20 seconds, but it's a good way to start to work toward balance. So coming down, we'll actually go ahead and come onto our knees. I was thinking about how to do this. Come onto your knees and take the right foot out to the side. Doesn't matter if your toes turn toward me or if they're up for right now. So we want to get this inner thigh a little bit, extending up and then hinging over. One more breath in on that exhale, coming back up. And let's switch sides. So coming over to the other side, extending the arm up and hinging over, fanning the ribs open, relaxing the shoulders. Feel free to flex through the foot or point through the toe, whichever feels better. Beautiful. Big breath in and exhale as we come forward. So you may repeat that as one variation. This variation takes us a little deeper. So I'm coming onto my foot and taking my foot out. Now, if this is a knee issue for you, go back up onto your knee with the first variation that we did. So this is all the meridian for the bladder, kidneys, and so it's a really good, kind of an important one to keep opening up. Plus, I'm having to do some balance right here on my foot. Big breath in, exhale as we gently switch it over. I'll just walk over to the other side, take my foot out, and find the stretch or hold that stretch. I need to move my foot just a little more to the side. Beautiful. Now take your time to transition to a seated position, however you need to get there. Awesome. Let's go into a butterfly. So those knees are open. It doesn't matter how far they are from your body. Hinging from the hips, staying straight up or staying straight up, whatever option feels best in your body. And exhaling as we come up. Let's open up the hips just a little bit. And I've got a brain trick for you and another kind of balance, brain and balance. So take one foot underneath. Doesn't matter which one. So we're moving toward a lotus. If you have knee issues, please just stay with your butterfly or just cross over. Or even right here. If this is where you are, that's where you are. If you can cross it over, that's another option. If you can rest that leg down, that's another variation. If you can start to move your knees so that they're stacked on top of each other, that is the final variation. Now, if you're here, place those hands and the thumb in the middle of the arch of your foot, and the fingertips just wrap over the top. So you can stay upright or you can bend from the hips. We're getting into those deep hip muscles as we go here. here is the party trick. So sitting up. So our feet don't change. The feet will end up in the same spot. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting up, spinning around, and then sitting back down, and the other foot is on top now. Try that one a few times. So let me do it with my back to you so you can see what happens. So right now I've got my right foot over the top. My feet stay in their places. So I rise up, turn, my feet cross the other way, and then I sit back down. So just a fun party trick to show people or to entertain yourself and to make the brain work. So any of your options, any of your variations, you choose and observe your breath. Taking the breath in, exhaling as we come up. Excellent. So let's go ahead and release, and let's take it down to the floor. One last thing, since we've been focusing on leg strength. So we'll go into a shoulder bridge, and this is whole body, but there is a focus on the legs, pressing us upward. So opening those collarbones right and left, connecting the upper arms to the floor. That's where our weight is. And then spreading those toes wide. As we exhale, let's lift those hips up off the floor, coming into our shoulder bridge. And imagine that you want to reach your kneecaps away from your body. Squeezing into those glutes, maybe lifting a little higher. Pressing into those feet to lift maybe a little higher. And on that exhale, we gently lower those hips back down. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and tuck the right knee into the chest. Left leg can be long or bent. It's up to you. And just start to circle around the hip joint. Noticing the mobility of the joint, switching directions. And that knee comes toward our armpit. On the exhale, gently release, and let's go ahead and switch. So the left knee tucks into the chest. And we'll just circle the hip from the hip bone, circling the knee. Switching directions and seeing any spots that kind of stick. Bringing the knee toward that same armpit. And gently release. Finding Shavasana. So whatever position that is for you, it could be a star shape, can just be flat, hands on the belly are fine. If you want to use a little essential oil, go ahead and take time to do that. If you want to cover up with a blanket, go ahead and take time to do that. And once you're settled in, close the eyes and just observe the back side of your body. Notice what is connected to the floor. And notice the parts of the back of your body that don't touch the floor, such as the calf right above the ankle, where there's a curve, or maybe the low back where it curves in, or maybe at the neck where there's another curve. focus on the breath. And actually give yourself permission to relax or to let go or to simply be. Go ahead and reconnect with your breath. Take a big breath in.
And on that exhale, let out a sigh. Do that 2 more times. And gently start to wiggle fingers and toes. Let your body stretch and reach and move really gently to ease back. You've got all the time that you need. And when you're ready, figure out how to come up to a seated position. Whew. Thanks once again for joining me for Holly Wade Wellness, 30 Days of Yoga. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste, my friends.